Hello, my name is Preston Thomas, and this is episode 54 of The Way of Jesus. This podcast is being recorded for the June 2025 broadcast. This podcast outlines what we need to be mentally and spiritually prepared to face and successfully endure the end times. The great prophet Daniel described the end times as a time of trouble such as never has been since there was a nation till that time. How are we to prepare for and endure such a time? Perhaps the first thing we need to realize is that the thought of dangerous and testing times naturally brings to mind many fearful thoughts. Our first step must be to courageously face our fears. Our natural tendency is to avoid fearful thoughts and simply hope we will never have to deal with the actual situation. Obviously, this is not a good plan and will only multiply our troubles if and when such fearful realities come to pass. We must counter fearful thoughts with courage. Courage is the antidote to fear. It is helpful to remember that having courage does not mean we do not also have fear. Rather, it means that we exert courage to face and overcome our fear. We must clearly realize that reacting to anxiety and danger with courage is wholly up to us. Only we can choose to react with courage when faced with personal fears and uncertainties. Our best strategy for dealing with fear is to immediately react to any such thought with a strong and positive affirmation such as courage or fear not. We do well to practice this daily, especially when we experience the easier and smaller fears that daily life brings. Besides choosing to face our fears, we do well to pray to the Father to help us become more courageous. Let us realize that God has implanted the spirit of courage within our minds. By choosing courage and relying on God's help, we can bring forth this courage. When we are facing fearful thoughts and dangerous situations, we may always pray, God, give me courage. An excellent way to grow our courage is to remember and be inspired by the exemplary life of Jesus. He lived a courageous life no matter what the situation. Courage was really at the heart of his teachings. His watchword was, fear not. Even in facing the apparent failure of his life mission, a cruel and unjust death, and the dispersal of his followers, he manifested perfect courage. Just before the time of his arrest and crucifixion, Jesus sought to encourage his apostles and followers, directing them to, "Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid." Let us decide to follow in the way of Jesus and be of good courage. In anxious times, it is easy to be thrown off balance, lose self-control, and even panic. Such reactions only deepen our problems. Self-control, especially in testing situations, is our most essential human virtue. It is the precondition for the exercise of the other virtues, such as manifesting courage in the face of fear. We must clearly realize that no one can provide us with this critical virtue. It is totally up to us. We should practice self-control daily. It is our fundamental responsibility. We must decide whether we will live a life simply reacting to external circumstances, or exercise self-control in guiding our lives in the ways we choose. Self-control is the acme of all human virtues. It has been well said that he who rules his own self is greater than he who captures a city. Another virtue that is called for in fearful and testing times is wisdom. The more dangerous the situation, the greater the need for wisdom. We must stay calm and be thoughtful and wise in our reactions. The regular practice of seeking God's guidance and wisdom in the direction of our lives is the best way to ready ourselves for troublous times. It is a wise practice to begin praying now for God's protection and wisdom when times of real tribulation come upon us. When the time of testing does come, we must not panic, but rather calmly and courageously face the facts of the situation and ask God for wisdom and guidance. We cannot change the fact that the time of the end with its fearsome judgments and plagues will one day come. As inhabitants of the earth, this is an experience we cannot avoid. When the time of the end does come, we must be wise and exert patient endurance. We will have no other good choice. The times will demand it. Patient endurance is a key to surviving these dark times until God comes, delivers us from evil, and brings forth a bright new spiritual age. The great advantage of prophecy is that it gives us a glimpse of the future. The many prophecies of the events of the end times arm us with pre-knowledge. With this knowledge, we can look for signs of the times, not be surprised or panicked when the end times come, and be comforted and reassured because God has made us aware of all this beforehand. We are better prepared to endure whatever comes, knowing that God is in control and will destroy the evil and godless ones who have brought about this time of judgment. And we are encouraged by the prophecy that the Father will bring forth out of this tribulation a far better world. Courage, self-control, wisdom, patient endurance, and prophetic foreknowledge will all greatly aid us at the time of the end. But our most important and powerful reaction will be faith. We must trust in and depend upon God. We can prepare for this time by praying to the Father to grant us greater faith day by day. Faith strengthens and empowers us in the exercise of all the other virtues. We must have the faith and wisdom to put ourselves in God's hands, pray for His help and deliverance, and trust in Him to bring us through to the advent of the coming new age. As always, we should look to the example of Jesus and the perfect faith He manifested in His earth life. Our best preparation is to follow Jesus and learn to trust in God for everything. Remember, Jesus trusted in God like a small child trusts in a respected and loving earthly Father. In the same way, we should trust in and depend upon our loving Heavenly Father to guide and strengthen us and bring us safely through our times of tribulation. Most essentially, we need to follow Jesus' example and develop a true and genuine inner connection with God. Jesus, in His unparalleled religious life, was in constant spiritual communion with his Father. Through intelligent prayer and worshipful communion, he attained a constant consciousness of the presence of God. Our high goal should be to attain the ideal spiritual life that Jesus manifested, an unbroken communion with God. The development of such a genuine religion of personal spiritual experience is our best preparation for enduring the end times. This concludes episode 54. Thank you for watching and listening. If you found this podcast helpful, please subscribe and give it a like. Until next time, remember that Jesus taught a religion of love. Near the end of his life, he told his apostles, "A new commandment I give you, that you love one another, even as I have loved you. By this, all men will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another."